All right, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to the Steve Malzberg Show, Wednesday edition from our New York City studios. We have so much to get to. You're not going to want to miss a moment, I promise you. First of all, Don King, boxing promoter, made some news. Longtime boxing promoter, longtime friend of Donald Trump, praising Donald Trump today, introducing him at a function. But when he introduced him, he used the N-word. Here it is.
I said, if you're poor, you are a poor Negro. I would use the N-word. But if you're rich, you are a rich Negro. If you are intellectual, you're an intellectual Negro. If you are dancing and sliding and gliding, Negro, you are dancing and sliding and gliding Negro.
All right, so the media went crazy. I don't know what they expected Donald Trump to do. They're not kind of blaming him outright, but he was sitting there. He had a smile on his face. I mean, what was he supposed to do? First of all, I've always been under the assumption it's perfectly acceptable for a black person to use the N-word. And, you know, it's Don King. He made a mistake. It slipped out accidentally or on purpose. I don't know. And Donald Trump's not responsible for what Don King says. But it's interesting. Another prominent black American supporting Donald Trump. So I guess, what, does that mean, all you wacko leftists out there, does that mean King's not really black? What, is he not down with the cause? Is he, is he like Clarence Thomas? What's the deal? I don't know. You tell me, because you're the ones who think that all blacks should think the same. Anyway, so we have that. And we also have Donald Trump. I want you to listen to what Donald Trump had to say yesterday. This has got him some media attention also.
We're going to rebuild our inner cities because our African-American communities are absolutely in the worst shape that they've ever been in before, ever, ever, ever. You take a look at the inner cities, you get no education, you get no jobs, you get shot walking down the street. They're worse. I mean, honestly, places like Afghanistan are safer than some of our inner cities.
Okay. I watched CNN last night. I was watching Anderson Cooper. They had this black woman on, used to work for the Congressional Black Caucus or something. To me, she's a radical leftist, okay? To me. And Anderson Cooper, you should have seen Jeffrey Lord and another Trump supporter were on the other side. And Donald Trump, doesn't Donald Trump know about slavery? Does he know about Jim Crow? Does he know about history? Does he know about lynchings? Does he know? He said, ever, ever, ever. Donald Trump said specifically the inner city neighborhoods. He's talking about, post-civil rights legislation, post-New Deal legislation, inner city neighborhoods. He's not talking about Jim Crow. He's not talking about slavery. He's talking about the big cities, the inner cities, the neighborhoods that are disasters. And he's saying ever, ever, ever with reference to those inner cities. He was very clear, very specific. And you should have seen Anderson with those big, wide glasses. Just Jeffrey Lord. But does he know history? I mean, does he know slavery? He said ever, ever, ever. I mean, oh my God, these people are nuts. Anyway, Trump's right. He's 100% right. He's 100% right. And in the Gimme 5 tonight, you're going to hear Louis Farrakhan, who I despise, take Obama to task big time. Says your legacy is Chicago and the streets of Chicago. So stay tuned for that. Okay, police shootings. We had an incident in Charlotte. Police shot 43-year-old Keith Lamont Scott after warning him repeatedly to drop his gun. Didn't stop the rioters. A black cop, by the way, shot black African-American Keith Lamont Scott. They rioted in the streets. There you see. Oh, yeah, that's what you do. And the scenario is, the mythology is, this guy was just sitting in his car reading a book. He was reading a book, and a cop went up to him and shot him. That's not true, say the police. He had a gun. He was told to drop the gun. He did not drop the gun. They shot him. Okay? They also... there it is. They're looting a Walmart. Look at that. Looting a Walmart. Hey, what do you do when someone's shot by a cop? Go get some freebies. Okay. Now, by the way, 16 officers sustained minor injuries during that protest last night. In Tulsa, Oklahoma, A man was walking on the road, and a police officer, a female police officer, approached and told him, he was 40-year-old Terrence Crutcher. And this confrontation went on for a minute, longer than you're seeing here. She told him to stop walking, stop walking, stop walking. He disobeyed her, reportedly, for over a minute as he continued back to his car. Despite the officer with the gun on him saying, stop, 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 he kept walking. He had his hands up, but when he went back to the car, right there, that's when he got shot. He put his hands down, or at least one of them, and the officer perceived he was reaching into the car. Another officer reportedly said if he had his gun drawn at the time, he would have shot also, or I think he had a taser, he would have shot also. So we'll see where this goes. But Hillary has already made her mind up. Hillary knows what happened, and it's the cops' fault. Watch.
We've got to tackle systemic racism, this horrible shooting again. How many times do we have to see this in our country? In Tulsa, an unarmed man with his hands in the air? I mean, this is just unbearable, and it needs to be intolerable.
And Hillary, judge, jury, and executioner Hillary, cops guilty, knows how to convince us white people, if you're white, it's in your us white people, she needs to talk to us.
Maybe I can, by speaking directly to white people, say, look, this is not who we are. We've got to do everything possible to improve policing, to go right at implicit bias,